Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. So Natsu and Lucy are on the collab banner, the first dimensional faction banner to ever arrive in AFK Journey. And in this video I want to talk about, based on the performance so far, is Natsu a hero you should be recruiting for, or is he someone that you should pass and save your diamonds for another hero in the future, which is going to be even more powerful and game-changing for your account? Okay, so I'm going to begin by briefly going over Natsu's key roles. So in PvP, this is the first area which came to mind for Natsu. He can do massive damage with his ultimate ability, and in Fire Dragon King mode, he has some of the most insane attack multipliers. Look at this 2,800% attack multiplier on a skill that can hit AoE and hit multiple enemies. Now, the weakness of this ability is that it is in a 3-tile frontal arc, which means it only has a range of 3 tiles, and behind that, it is not going to, for example, hit ranged enemies who are like 4 or 5 tiles away. And that is a major weakness of Natsu, because he can get stuck attacking a tank, and those backline heroes can just freely attack Natsu and kill him quickly. The other weakness that he has is his survivability. He doesn't have any innate survival in his kit that provides him like invincibility or untarget or anything like that, and those are really key abilities you need to have on a PvP hero for them to be top tier. Like Tassi, Lily May, Taylene, some of the reasons they're so powerful is, along with their damage and utility, they also have a lot of survival or invincibility, which will make it difficult for them to actually die. So if we're talking about Supreme Arena, thankfully you have faction tiles to support the hero. And in this season, we have the Wilder faction tiles. In the previous season, we had the Mauler faction tiles, which provide you invincibility. And I'm expecting probably in future seasons, we will also have at least one faction tile that would give you some survival mechanic. So there is potential of Natsu being used there, and definitely on Wilder tiles he has potential, but that is not enough, in my opinion, to be recruiting for him just to have potential. Because there are a lot of heroes which can do well on these invincibility tiles, good nukers for PvP, and Natsu, even though his damage is amazing from his ultimate, he needs to cast his ultimate, which is another problem. If the enemy has a Lily May, they can interrupt him because he has a pre-fill energy, or if they have like a Dunlinger, of course, they can shut him down. So that is a major weakness behind Natsu, in my opinion. Now, for boss content, we have seen Natsu being used in Ravaged Realm, and he is a good option there. In fact, he is a part of the top performing team, and even the second best team. So, Natsu is going to improve your score in Ravaged Realm, but the question is by how much? I made a video about that, and really there was only a 2 billion damage difference between a no Natsu team and a Natsu team. And so that is not really worth it in order for you to like invest in a hero just for that 2 billion boost for Ravaged Realm, which is only right at the end of the season. But it is something to keep in mind, and it did improve the performance of Dauntless Squad. And so if there is any other boss content in the future, then potentially Natsu could have some potential. Now, for Dream Realm, it is very unlikely Natsu is going to be good, because Natsu does not have any major true damage. He doesn't have any major HP per second damage. The only thing which he kind of has here is when an enemy is under a debuff inflicted by Natsu, then their maximum health will drop by 20% of Natsu's attack every 0.5 seconds, and that would be HP per second damage, like 20% of Natsu's attack per second, or per 0.5 seconds here. However, it has to have a debuff inflicted onto the enemy. And the problem with that is he only can inflict a debuff onto a boss with his Iron Fist. If he's in the Lightning Fire Dragon mode, then he can have a haste debuff onto the boss. And as far as bosses go, I'm not sure whether they can actually be haste reduced, because that would affect the cooldown timing, and definitely from other haste reduction that we've had in the past, it hasn't actually applied on the boss. Now, I don't know if this will count as, like, for example, a debuff stack, and it will trigger this damage of Natsu onto that hero. We've only had 2 Dream Realm bosses with Natsu being out. We'll wait and see. Maybe there's potential with this ability to somehow make him useful in some Dream Realm boss, but I just feel like it's a little bit too low. And it is only going to be triggering when there is a debuff inflicted onto the opponent. And the problem is he can only inflict the debuff in Lightning Fire Dragon mode, which is for all other intents and purposes his lower damage option, because it's going to reduce the damage multiplier from his ultimate in that Lightning Fire Dragon mode, and also lower the damage multiplier from his other skills. So even though it will come with its HP per second damage, it is going to lower his damage otherwise for the skill casting, like their raw multipliers. So that is why I really I don't feel like he's going to be a top Dream Realm damage dealer because we have so many great Dream Realm damage dealers now. Even Shamir has now taken, like, basically sealed a place for herself. And so as time goes on, Dream Realm is getting more and more competitive, and there are only 5 slots. And like for damage dealers, that's really only 2 or 3 slots for damage dealers because the rest have to be supports. And definitely twins are always used in every team. So that is the thing. But let's talk a little bit about the Dimensional Faction. So Dimensional Faction is actually really strange because it doesn't act like a wild card. Instead, it will just be like no faction hero is actually in the formation. So that's a problem because it's more difficult for you to run a faction like a 3-man factional synergy for seasonal content because he's going to take up one of the slots and he doesn't provide anything. And for regular arena, for example, or even regular, I believe AFK stages, the dimensional does not count as any faction. So you still need 3 of a kind in order to trigger any factional synergy. And if Natsu is in there, it's more difficult for you to trigger that effect. So he's not providing anything in terms of factional synergy by being dimensional. That is another issue with his kit. Okay guys, so I want to show you his performance in Ravaged Realm. As you can see, we got 109 billion damage, and that is definitely in part thanks to Natsu. So there are 2 Natsu teams. This is the team which is more free-to-play friendly because it doesn't have Athalia on it, and he did 19 billion damage. In the Athalia team, Natsu did 16 billion damage, and this is with the Supreme plus 10 exclusive equipment Natsu as well. This was not heavily invested as compared to the other heroes here, and he still was doing a good job in this Ravaged Realm boss. And so that is a bit promising with Natsu. So here we have a replay of Natsu in AFK stages. He's on the Lightning Fire Dragon mode, and you're going to see how much of the HP bars he destroys of the enemies here. The grayed out portion is going to be the HP that he destroys. After he casts his ultimate, he's going to stun these enemies, and I think that is triggering his exclusive equipment plus 10 ability to deal that HP per 0.5 second damage, and that damage is also then going to be converted into some form of HP destruction. And you're going to see it here when he casts his ultimate again. If you can cast it, it's going to further destroy the HP bars. And this destruction is not actually, it kind of seems like it can destroy up to like 70 or 80% of the enemy's health bar if the visual like representation is accurate, because based on how much it destroys of it visually, that it looks like 80%. You're going to see it right here. And so this has some uses in AFK stages. However, even though this looks broken, the thing is, this HP reduction in terms of the damage that Natsu actually deals himself, it's quite low. You guys saw that on the damage sheet. So you still will rely on other heroes to deal the damage and clean up these enemy teams. Even if you destroy almost all of the health bar, you still need Tassi to come in and finish off and damaging the opponents here to actually defeat them. So you need another form of damage. And like when you see it here, we still get close to running out of time here. But this just shows you basically a proof of concept that Natsu has some use in AFK stages. However, from my own testing as well, it just feels like he's not necessarily adding a huge amount to the team as much as it looks. So I'm kind of confused, honestly, that there's such massive HP bar destruction, but it still takes you a long time to kill everything. Like, things are like not really adding up in my head. I don't know if there's some sort of visual bug or something, but either way, this just shows he can work in AFK stages. But the thing is, you could just replace Natsu for some other damage, like a Bonnie, and it can kind of get the same job done and probably clear it as well. But that being said, this was a high level of AFK stage, like 1,326 on his levels, and this was 2,370 talent stage. That is no joke. So those were the 2 key things I wanted to show you. But overall, does this mean that Natsu is a hero that you should recruit for? In my opinion, honestly, no. I think most people should skip Natsu. The only final thought I want to come to is that maybe getting 1 copy of him is not a bad idea, because we know that we're going to get the hero rental system. The way that is going to work is if we don't have any copy of the hero, we're going to have to pay a rental fee and have another player in our guild, for example, loan us a Natsu that they have. And then we will get that Natsu as base copy, epic quality, and we will have to pay diamonds to buy soul sigils to level up that Natsu to a higher, as high ascension as we want. And the diamond cost is going to be higher than it currently is on banner. So I don't know what that means. It could mean 15,000 diamonds. It could mean 20,000 diamonds, because at hard pity, it is 12,000 diamonds for you to hit Natsu right now. So the good news with that is that if it ever comes to a time where Natsu is needed for some reason, then you can still always get him. Everyone can have access to him eventually, or like even after his banner ends. That is a good feature. However, the thing is, you will have to pay that rental fee, and I don't know, it didn't mention how many times you pay that rental fee, but eventually then it becomes a free rental. But you always are relying on someone else to be able to loan you the hero. If you have one copy of Natsu, then you have that one copy, and you can also buy those copies from the shop, which at whatever price it is, 15,000, 20,000 diamonds, whatever the price is, you can buy it, even if you have that one copy or two copies, however much you have, and continue your progress on your own Natsu, and then you can actually keep him on your account, being able to use him without needing to ever rent. So that is why I think probably if I, like, from my main account, when I'm not planning to recruit Natsu, I'm gonna get one copy of him. And the good thing is, from the event, Fairy Tail event, we're gonna get like 30 invite letters. That is almost enough to get one copy of Natsu, like 40 is needed for the pity. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna probably leave Lucy at Mythic Plus and get one copy of Natsu on my main account. Because, and I'll make a video about Lucy later on, but basically this video is about Natsu, and in my opinion, I think most players should skip Natsu. I think the mid spenders to high spenders can recruit for Natsu, or if you are kind of like a collectionist or you like these heroes, you can definitely recruit for them. And also, if you just want to maximize your performance in Ravaged Realm, you can recruit for him, because it is going to give you an edge as compared to not having Natsu, and honestly, that's a valid reason to be recruiting for him as well. However, it is going to come at a cost because we don't know where else he's useful. As of right now, you need to assume he's not going to be useful anywhere else other than Ravaged Realm, and that is not enough of a reason to recruit for a hero. So, especially as a minor damage boost. But anyway, those are the overall my thoughts on Natsu. You guys can share your own opinions in the comment section down below, but I think this, hopefully, I'm pretty sure I did cover all the things I wanted to, and my overall recommendation, as I said, is that probably to skip Natsu for most players out there. For the people who have plenty of diamonds, or the mid to higher spenders, then they can recruit for Natsu just to like optimize min-max their Ravaged Realm performance. But other players, at least as of right now, he is a skip. Things could change. Who knows? Like, maybe he could have some Dream Realm use. There's potential. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That is going to be it for this one. If you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please smash that subscribe button. Also, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video. But thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.